In the quiet town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, on Christmas Eve 1945, a fire erupted that would shatter the lives of one family and leave a mystery that still haunts us today. 5 children vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and a chilling enigma. This is the story of the Sodder children disappearance. What really happened that night? Why were there no remains found in the ashes? And what clues point towards possible foul play? Join us as we delve into one of America's most perplexing and enduring mysteries. Welcome to our channel, where we explore the unexplained and the unsolved. If you're fascinated by true crime and historical mysteries, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think happened to the Sodder children? On that fateful night, the Sodder family's home was reduced to ashes, but the absence of remains raised unsettling questions. Witnesses reported seeing the children alive after the fire, and strange evidence hinted at foul play. The mystery deepens with every detail we uncover. Stay with us as we piece together the puzzle, examining every clue and theory. Was it a tragic accident, or is there a darker truth waiting to be revealed? Let's find out together. George and Jenny Sodder were an Italian immigrant couple who settled in the small town of Fayetteville, West Virginia. They built a life together and had 10 children: John, Joe, Marion, George Jr., Morris, Martha, Louis, Jenny, Betty, and Sylvia. George, a hardworking and determined man, ran a successful trucking business, while Jenny managed the household and cared for their large family. Life in Fayetteville for the Sodder family was filled with routine, hard work, and community involvement. Their 2-story frame house was situated on a spacious piece of land, providing plenty of room for the children to play and explore. The older children often helped with their father's business, while the younger ones contributed to household chores. The Sodders were well respected in their community, known for their strong work ethic and generosity. Despite facing some challenges and prejudices as Italian immigrants, George and Jenny were determined to create a prosperous and secure future for their children. They instilled values of hard work, perseverance, and close family ties. The family's daily life was a blend of Italian traditions and American customs. Meals were a central part of their family life, with Jenny preparing large, hearty dinners that brought everyone together. The children attended local schools and participated in community events, contributing to the social fabric of Fayetteville. Despite their success and the apparent harmony in their lives, the Sodder family faced underlying tensions. George had strong political opinions, especially about his homeland Italy, and he was not shy about expressing them. This sometimes put him at odds with other members of the immigrant community, leading to heated discussions and occasional threats. Nevertheless, the Sodder family remained united, navigating the complexities of their immigrant experience with resilience and optimism. Their home was a place of warmth, laughter, and dreams, setting the stage for the tragic events that would soon unfold. On Christmas Eve 1945, the Sodder family celebrated the holiday in their cozy home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. The atmosphere was festive, with the children excitedly playing and anticipating the gifts they would receive the next morning. After a long day of festivities, the family began to settle down for the night. Around 1 a.m., a strange noise awakened Jenny Sodder. She went to investigate and noticed that the lights were still on and the doors unlocked, which was unusual but not alarming. After turning off the lights and securing the doors, she returned to bed. Shortly after, Jenny was awakened again, this time by the smell of smoke. Jenny rushed to wake her husband, George, and together they discovered that the house was on fire. Flames quickly engulfed the lower part of the house, spreading rapidly. George and Jenny frantically called out to their children, trying to wake them and get them to safety. 4 of their children, Marion, Sylvia, George Jr., and John, managed to escape the burning house. However, the flames and smoke made it impossible for George and Jenny to reach the remaining 5 children: Morris, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, who were sleeping in the attic. George tried to rescue them, but the stairs were already consumed by fire. In a desperate attempt to save his children, George ran outside to get a ladder that was always kept against the house, only to find it missing. He then tried to start both of his trucks to drive them to the side of the house and climb to the attic, but neither truck would start, despite having worked perfectly the previous day. Meanwhile, Marion ran to a neighbor's house to call for help, but the phone lines were not working. The fire department, hampered by wartime shortages and relying on a telephone tree system to relay the alarm, did not arrive until much later in the morning. By then, the Sodder home had been reduced to ashes. Despite the intense heat of the fire, no remains of the 5 children were found in the rubble, leaving George and Jenny in shock and disbelief. The lack of remains, combined with the missing ladder and non-functional trucks, raised immediate suspicions. George and Jenny were convinced that their children had not perished in the fire but had been taken. This marked the beginning of their relentless quest for answers and the unraveling of one of America's most enduring mysteries. The 5 missing Sodder children were Morris 14, Martha 12, Louis 9, Jenny 8, and Betty 5. These children were last seen going to bed in the attic, excited for Christmas morning. However, their whereabouts after the fire broke out remains one of the most puzzling aspects of this case. As the fire consumed the Sodder home, the frantic search for the children intensified. Despite the intense heat and the house burning to the ground, no remains of the 5 children were found in the ashes. This lack of evidence led to immediate and widespread suspicion. Several strange occurrences further deepened the mystery. Firstly, the ladder that George intended to use for the rescue was found far from its usual spot, preventing him from reaching the attic. Secondly, the phone line, which had been working earlier in the night, was discovered to have been cut, hindering any calls for help. Additionally, despite being in good working condition the day before, both of George's trucks inexplicably failed to start, preventing him from using them to aid in the rescue. Adding to the intrigue, a witness claimed to have seen the missing children in a car driving away from the scene of the fire that night. Another report came from a woman who ran a tourist stop between Fayetteville and Charleston, stating that she had seen the children the morning after the fire. She recalled serving them breakfast and that there was a car with Florida license plates at her tourist court. Despite these sightings and the odd circumstances surrounding the night of the fire, no concrete evidence was ever found to explain the children's disappearance. The absence of remains and the strange incidents left the Sodder family and investigators grappling with a myriad of questions. Were the children kidnapped? Was the fire a cover-up for a more sinister plot? These unanswered questions continue to haunt the case, contributing to its enduring mystery. The disappearance of the 5 Sodder children is surrounded by several pieces of suspicious evidence that suggest foul play. First, the ladder that George Sodder intended to use for the rescue was found far from its usual spot, preventing him from reaching the attic where the children were last seen. This odd placement of the ladder raised immediate questions about whether it had been deliberately moved to thwart any rescue attempts. Secondly, the phone line to the Sodder home, which had been functioning earlier in the evening, was discovered to have been cut. This was a critical hindrance as it prevented the family from calling for help during the fire. Later investigations revealed that someone had climbed 14 feet up the pole and cut the line, adding to the suspicions of premeditated sabotage. Additionally, both of George's trucks, which he had planned to use to reach the attic, mysteriously failed to start despite being in perfect working condition the previous day. This mechanical failure at such a crucial moment was highly suspicious and suggested possible tampering. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence came from witness accounts. A woman claimed to have seen the missing children in a car driving away from the scene of the fire on the night it occurred. This sighting suggested that the children might have been abducted rather than perished in the fire. Another witness, a woman who operated a tourist stop between Fayetteville and Charleston, reported seeing the children the morning after the fire. She distinctly remembered serving them breakfast and noticed a car with Florida license plates at her establishment. Her account, although not verified, added to the theory that the children had been taken away. These strange occurrences and witness accounts paint a picture of a potentially orchestrated event rather than a tragic accident. The ladder's mysterious displacement, the cut phone line, and the non functional trucks all point towards deliberate actions to prevent the children from being rescued. The eyewitness reports further fuel the suspicion that the children were kidnapped, making the mystery of their disappearance even more perplexing. The mysterious disappearance of the Sodder children has spurred numerous investigations and theories over the decades, each trying to uncover the truth behind the tragic night of December 24, 1945. Despite extensive efforts, the case remains unsolved, with several theories emerging as potential explanations. Overview of various investigations. Immediately after the fire, the Fayetteville Fire Department conducted an investigation, concluding that the blaze was due to faulty wiring. However, the Sodder family, unsatisfied with this explanation, initiated their own inquiries. They hired private investigators and sought help from local and national authorities. Despite these efforts, no conclusive evidence was found to determine the fate of the 5 missing children. In 1949, the Sodders engaged the help of Washington, D.C. pathologist Oscar B. Hunter, who conducted a new excavation of the fire site. His team found several small bone fragments later identified as human vertebrae. However, further analysis indicated that these bones had not been exposed to fire, casting doubt on their relevance to the case. Possible foul play and kidnapping theories. One prevalent theory is that the children were kidnapped and the fire was a diversion to cover the crime. This theory is supported by various pieces of suspicious evidence, such as the cut phone line and the missing ladder. The witness accounts of seeing the children in a car and later at a tourist stop further fuel this speculation. Some theorize that George Sodder's outspoken political views, particularly his criticism of Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, may have made him enemies who sought revenge by abducting his children. This theory suggests that the fire was set intentionally to create chaos and facilitate the kidnapping. Another theory posits that the children were taken by an organized crime syndicate, possibly with connections to human trafficking. This idea stems from the methodical nature of the suspicious events that night, indicating a well-planned operation. Analysis of evidence supporting these theories. The evidence supporting the kidnapping theory includes the moved ladder, which was found far from its usual place, preventing a rescue. The cut phone line also suggests deliberate sabotage to hinder emergency communication. The inexplicable failure of George's trucks further points to potential tampering. Witness accounts are crucial in supporting the kidnapping theory. The woman who claimed to see the children in a car the night of the fire and the tourist stop owner who reported seeing them the next morning provide compelling, though unverified, evidence that the children may have been taken alive. Additionally, the 1949 excavation findings, while inconclusive, raised questions about the initial investigation's thoroughness and accuracy. The bone fragments discovered were inconsistent with the expected results of a fire of such intensity, suggesting that not all aspects of the incident had been properly explored. Despite these theories and investigations, no definitive evidence has emerged to solve the mystery. The Sodder family's relentless search for answers, including offering rewards and publicizing the case, highlights the deep uncertainties and unresolved questions that continue to surround the disappearance of the 5 Sodder children. In their relentless quest for answers, the Sodder family took extraordinary measures to keep the public's attention on the disappearance of their children. One of the most notable actions was the erection of a large billboard along Route 16 near their home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, in 1952. This billboard became a symbol of the family's enduring hope and determination to uncover the truth. The Sodder family's determination and the billboard. George and Jenny Sodder, convinced that their children had been kidnapped, refused to accept the official explanation that the fire had consumed their remains. In their desperation to find their missing children, they turned to unconventional methods. They distributed flyers, sought help from private investigators, and reached out to the media. However, the most striking of their efforts was the billboard they erected, featuring photographs of the 5 missing children along with a detailed account of the suspicious circumstances surrounding their disappearance. The billboard read, "What was their fate? Kidnapped, murdered, or are they still alive?" On Christmas Eve 1945, our home was set afire and 5 of our children, ages 5 through 14, kidnapped. The officials blamed defective wiring, although the lights were still burning after the fire started. The official report stated that the children died in the fire. However, no bones were found in the residue, and there was no smell of burning flesh during or after the fire. What was the motive of the law officers involved? What did they have to gain by making us suffer all these years of injustice? Why did they lie and force us to accept those lies? Signed, Mr. and Mrs. George Sodder. This public declaration of their doubts and suspicions was intended to keep the case in the public eye and encourage anyone with information to come forward. Impact of the billboard and public response. The billboard had a significant impact, drawing widespread attention to the case. It became a local landmark and was frequently covered in newspapers and magazines, bringing national attention to the mystery. The Sodders received numerous tips and leads over the years, although none led to a definitive conclusion. Public response was mixed. Many sympathized with the Sodder family's plight and admired their unwavering determination. The billboard, stark and direct, resonated with those who believed in the possibility of foul play and the need for justice. It fueled various theories and kept the case alive in public discourse, ensuring that the mystery was not forgotten. However, some locals and officials viewed the billboard as a stubborn refusal to accept a tragic accident. Skeptics argued that the evidence pointed to a devastating fire and that the lack of remains could be attributed to the intensity of the blaze. Despite these differing opinions, the billboard remained a powerful statement of the Sodder family's unyielding hope and their refusal to give up on their missing children. The continued public interest generated by the billboard and the family's efforts eventually led to the involvement of additional investigators and experts. Despite these efforts, no new evidence emerged to conclusively solve the case. The billboard stood as a testament to the family's enduring love and their tireless search for the truth, remaining in place until George Sodder's death in 1969. Even after the billboard was taken down, the mystery of the Sodder children continued to captivate and perplex, symbolizing the profound and enduring impact of their story. Despite extensive investigations and numerous theories, the mystery of the Sodder children's disappearance remains unsolved. The case, now over 75 years old, continues to baffle investigators and intrigue the public. The current status of the case is still officially open, though it has grown cold with no new leads or evidence emerging in recent decades. Reasons why the mystery remains unsolved. Several factors contribute to the unresolved nature of this case. Lack of physical evidence. The fire, which destroyed the Sodder home, also eliminated much of the physical evidence that could have provided clues. The absence of the children's remains and the mysterious circumstances surrounding the fire have left investigators with little to go on. Conflicting reports. Over the years, numerous witness accounts and reports have surfaced, but many are conflicting or unverifiable. Some witnesses claimed to have seen the children after the fire, while others reported suspicious activity around the time of the incident. The lack of consistent and reliable information has hindered the investigation. Possible sabotage: the suspicious elements of the case, such as the cut phone line, the moved ladder, and the non functional trucks, suggest potential sabotage. However, without concrete evidence or witnesses to these actions, it remains speculative. Passage of time: as decades have passed, potential witnesses and individuals involved in the case have aged or passed away, making it increasingly difficult to gather new information. Memories fade and records may have been lost or destroyed. Complexity of theories: the various theories, ranging from kidnapping and organized crime to accidental death, have added layers of complexity to the case. Each theory brings its own set of possibilities and challenges, none of which have been definitively proven or disproven. The story of the Sodder children disappearance is a haunting and enduring mystery that continues to captivate those who hear it. Despite the exhaustive efforts of the Sodder family and numerous investigators, the truth remains elusive. On Christmas Eve 1945, a fire destroyed the Sodder family home, and 5 children, Morris, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, disappeared. Suspicious evidence such as a moved ladder, cut phone line, and non-functional trucks suggested foul play. Witness accounts of seeing the children after the fire fueled theories of kidnapping. The Sodder family's persistent search for answers included erecting a billboard and hiring private investigators. Despite extensive investigations, the case remains unsolved due to a lack of physical evidence, conflicting reports, possible sabotage, the passage of time, and the complexity of theories. Reflection on the enduring mystery and the family's hope. The Sodder family's unwavering determination to find their children and uncover the truth is a testament to their enduring hope and love. Their efforts to keep the case in the public eye through actions like the billboard highlight their refusal to accept the unknown. The mystery of the Sodder children is not just a story of a tragic fire, but a narrative of resilience, suspicion, and the relentless pursuit of justice. If this story has intrigued you, please like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into unsolved mysteries and historical enigmas. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. What do you think happened to the Sodder children? Join us next time as we continue to explore the unexplained and the unresolved. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay curious.